Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 2025 Chess World Cup. This is a massive knockout tournament, and the top 3 finishers, who finish with gold, silver, and bronze, will make it into the next candidates. And the winner of the candidates will play for the next World Championship against GothamChess. At the time of recording this, we don't know who that is, but if you're watching this in the future, yeah, we probably know what happened already. Now, this is a pretty special recap because it's probably going to be one of my least viewed videos ever. The reason for that is I am uploading this much later than I thought I would. It's going to be uploaded around 8:30, 9 o'clock on a Monday night when nobody is really watching chess on YouTube. At least that's what the analytics say. Americans are probably watching Monday Night Football, and generally I don't upload at this time. I was traveling today, and I was delayed like 6 hours, maybe 7 hours at the airport. One of the longest delays I've ever faced. I'm generally a pretty lucky flyer. I still wanted to make this, though, because only true hardcore members of the Gotham community can find each other in the comment section, along with probably some bots. But, you know, get them out of here. So this is the first game of the quarterfinal. And already some statements have been made. I will take you through all 4 games because there's really not that many players left. And the second reason why most people are probably not going to see this video is tomorrow I will upload the next recap, which will bury this one. So if you manage to catch this one, I see you in the comment section. I see you in the view list. You matter. You're great. Appreciate it. And here we go. Side note, I was at Chess the Musical opening night on Broadway yesterday. Super cool. If you're in New York or you're going to visit New York, go watch Chess the Musical. Not a paid promo. Afterward, got to meet Nicholas Christopher, incredible guy, big chess fan. Got to meet members of the cast. Got to meet members of the team of the whole musical. Got to meet Aaron Tveit. That was cool. Didn't get to meet Leah Michelle, but that's all right. Next time. We're going to open things up with the matchup between Nodirbek Yakoboyev and Alexander Danchenko. Then we have Wei Yi and Arjun Erigaisi. Then we have Javahir Sandarov and Jose Martinez. And we will end with Sam Shankland versus Andrei Yesipenko. So Nodirbek Yakoboyev with the white pieces has been a murderer in this tournament. Like he has literally won every single matchup in classical chess because of his white repertoire. Danchenko does not shy away. He does not go e6, d5. I mean, the QGD is clearly what you play nowadays if you just kind of want to chill. Danchenko's like, I want to go for the glory. Yakoboyev plays f3. So he plays an anti-Grunfeld, anti-King's Indian. Now, if Black wanted to just play the King's Indian defense, he can. But Yakoboyev plays here, probably because Danchenko is a Grunfeld player, and this is an anti-Grunfeld line. Danchenko plays c5, and it doesn't particularly matter because the game becomes whatever this is. Yakoboyev plays knight e2, and then that same knight goes to c3. So this is some really weird business, right? I mean, it's taking away the square from that knight. That's because that knight on b1 will stay there for a while and could go to d2, could go to a3, or could just kind of wait. The game gets completely insane immediately. So we have pawn takes d5, pawn takes d5, and Black plays the very natural move a6 to try to play like this. A4 played, shutting that down. And now Danchenko plays knight h5, already given a question mark by the computer. I don't get why, but I think it's because White can immediately play g4. And if Black gives the check, White can just run the king. The center is locked, and it's very difficult for Black to actually break through with the pieces. So White's king can afford to walk around in the castle with his trousers off. He could just do what he wants. In the game, White went queen e2, which looks very reasonable to me. Now, bishop d4, I mean, this is just some perverted chess. Like, I'm not going to lie, this is some sort of, like, nonsense. I mean, I really have no idea what we're looking at here. Black is continuing to create sort of vague dark square threats, which Yakoboyev just very happily obliges. Let me be very clear. When you sit down with the Black pieces and you play the King's Indian setup or the Grunfeld setup, if this can be your position after 11 moves, like, you are thrilled. I mean, really, like, Danchenko did not show up to this game to make a draw, right? White goes king d1, the knight now has to move, and White now goes king c2. So two king moves, like in the middle of the game, the king just walks over there to the atrium, you know, while there's a big fight going on this side of the board. The knight continues its journey. Here's the problem. After 13 moves, black went knight f6, knight h5, knight back to f6, knight back to d7, limiting both of these pieces. The queen went to h4, the bishop went to g7 and d4. Black has, and I cannot stress this enough, absolutely nothing here. Nothing. What black is going to rely on here is like maybe one remaining little idea against this pawn. Otherwise, black can't play b5 or f5, and black can't develop these pieces naturally. It's actually going to be white who's going to start taking over. So we have bishop f4, very nice move. Now the queen goes back again. And now the bishop comes here because you want to trade black's really only active piece. Meanwhile, Danchenko forgot that he has like 5 other pieces. So he has now made 15 moves, and only these 3 pieces are moving. Queen h4, queen f6, knight f6, knight h5, knight f6, knight d7, knight e5, bishop g7, bishop d4. Now you play knight d2. Bro, he moved the queen again. At some point, you had to be making these moves feeling a little ridiculous. And yet they are actually like the best moves. Like, because of the way you play the position. Bro, he went queen h4, queen f6, queen h4, knight f6, knight h5, knight f6, knight d7, knight e5, bishop g7, bishop d4. Like, it looks like a conspiracy theory, like, set of ropes, right? Meanwhile, white is also making the same moves, but at least pieces are getting developed. And here comes h5. And now is really the moment of truth. Is Jakuboyev's position going to collapse? No. He goes here. Danchenko has to move the queen again. And white just goes pawn takes h5. It looks like, you know, white is giving something up. He's not. This pawn structure is very intact. Here comes the rook. Here comes white. Black cannot do anything with these pieces. And he goes rook a7. Let me be as clear as possible. If it is the 20th move of the game and you got to go rook a7, bro, it looks like Danchenko is assembling a puzzle. Like, it doesn't look like a chess game. Rook a7? Like, even white's position looks like modern art. Rook a7, now white just starts attacking. I mean, let's go. a5 totally limits the position. Black has to do something anyway. He gives up the pawn. He's going to win it back, right? He's not going to have enough time. I take the knight. I put my knight right on c4. So black now 2 moves away from getting everybody out. Like, rook takes h4 is nice, but Jakuboyev has been an absolute unit. Look at this position. Chops off the rooks, chops off the bishop, and just super calm queen e3. Who guards the pawn and who guards that pawn? I have news for you. Nobody. Like, you're going to have to lose at least one of those pawns. b4 is not even necessary. Like, you can take on c5, but it's actually the best move because you're going to be able to take with the pawn. Black can't go rook b4 because queen c5 is a fork. In the previous position, you know, it looks like you could have played queen c5 here, but if you did that, black would retreat and actually defend both pieces. When b4 is played, that's not possible. And after 29 moves, Jakuboyev has 2 connected passed pawns, and Danchenko's position absolutely gets vaporized. Like, rook g6 for good measure, queen d6, queen d8 is the tactic. Queen d6, rook g4, a little bit of shuffling, sacks the rook. I'm not going to yell it because it was just a rook trade. I can't tell if this game was brilliance by Jakuboyev winning like a 4th game in the World Cup with white. Like, this dude, they just got to only let him play black. Or if Danchenko just decided to have like the worst game of the tournament at like the worst moment. Because the truth is, you know, you have a strategy. You either go for glory with black or you just stabilize. What you're going to see in the rest of this recap is 3 people with the black pieces who showed up and were like, I'm going to not lose. I'm going to take my chance with white. Danchenko was like, F that. I'm going to play for a win with black. He got a position like, he got a goofy position. I would refer to this as a goofy position. And there were chances, but it's not even really clear where he went wrong. Like, I think here, maybe even queen h4 is fine. Bishop f4, I think h5 was ultimately, even h5 might have actually been okay, but black could have played a little bit safer. Like, h5, bishop here, I think rook h5 might have even been a mistake. But when you actually let the computer like run this position, after a while it's like, yo, black's position is ass. Why did he make any of those moves? And like yeah, I mean, it's not really even clear what went so wrong. Maybe this plan of knight h5, bishop, it was just simply too committal. Like maybe it was just a little bit more responsible to go castles. But a very tough game for Danchenko. Now, he has bounced back in the tournament after really tough losses, but he wasn't ever trailing against Liam. So Jakuboyev is a game away from being a semifinalist, which is epic stuff. Now, Wei Yi Arjun Erigaisi was the silliest game ever. Like, you thought this game was goofy. This game was silly. So it was e4, e5. It was a Spanish. Erigaisi played the main line. And now, rather than taking into an open Spanish, he played the closed Spanish, bishop e7, b5, d6, main line. Black can wait and play d5. He doesn't do that. c3, h3. Ultra, super, duper, duper, duper classical line. Now here, black generally goes knight a5. Black can also play the Breyer variation with knight b8. There are many variations. I'm pretty sure the move chosen in the game is a massive sideline. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Even this is more popular. In this position, he plays bishop e6, which is not a move that I have seen in a minute. And it's obviously not a move that has been seen in a minute by Wei Yi, who proceeds to spend 21 minutes remembering his pawn can go 2 squares. Yeah, d4, to try to obviously fork. Erigaisi's like, well, I'm going to obviously not let you fork me. And now in this position, I'm going to go h6, just a waiting move, just not letting anything go to g5. Now, white has a million setups here. White can play a4, bishop e3, knight d2. You can play knight d2 without bishop e3 and then sort of reposition your pieces. He ends up going a4. I feel like Wei Yi also played a4 because he wanted to get Arjun out of his preparation. Arjun responded in 1 minute with queen d7. Just an excellent memory. That's just a free pawn, it looks like. But it will open up the floodgates to counterplay. So now we have pawn takes, we have rook takes, we have queen b5, we have Wei Yi winning a pawn, but suddenly knight takes d4 comes in. So now if the queen takes the queen, you take with check, and then you take back. Now, if this, you go takes, the queens are staring at each other. So we have queen takes, pawn, and bishop f6 attacking this pawn. And it's difficult to defend it, because if you push it, I play rook b8 or rook a2 or even rook a1, like, I'm going to win this pawn. It's going to be impossible for you to defend this pawn. Wei Yi ends up going here, rook b8. How do you protect this pawn? You can play rook to e2, then I'm going to play rook to b4, and then after rook e2, rook b4, rook d2, there's pawn to c5. So instead of all of that, he just goes knight d2. Wei Yi's like, yo, we're making a draw. We're just making a draw. We rook and 4. After 27 moves, the entire board is gone. The boys just shuffle the pieces. They make a draw. So why did I call this game silly? Arjun Erigaisi sat down. He had 90 minutes on the clock to play this game. 90-30. That's what they start with. Yo, he ended the game with more time than he started with at the World Cup. Like, that's crazy. His opening preparation was sublime. Frankly, this is why I think chess should be played with 15 or, 30 minutes on the clock and not 90, when you can just go in the memory palace and solve some line. What's interesting is, like, Erigaisi has all these ideas. Like, bishop e6, I have not seen. I have actually not covered, I think, a single game on this channel. Not one at top level where bishop e6 is played, because this is the mainline Spanish. Bro, they play here, they play here. Like I said, they play here, they play rook e8, they play the side civ, they play the, the traditional mainline. Yo, they do not play bishop e6. It's just not a move. It's not a move here. And Erigaisi shows up and completely neutralizes his opponent at the World Cup. Hey, remember how I said in this game that most people play it like that? Well, I got more games for you. So in this game, Sendarov played the Queen's Gambit. What did Martinez prepare? Martinez played the Queen's Gambit accepted, because it's a very forcing system. And white doesn't have many options to try to play for an advantage. So it was knight f3, knight f6. Jose played e3, e6, c5. And here, rather than playing the line a6, which is the traditional main line, you will notice that Jose just kept the bishop here. Now, I actually think that is what Gukesh did in the candidates. Gukesh did this against Hikaru, I think, in the final game of the 2024 candidates tournament. He played a very early bishop e7. And after pawn takes, the traditional line of queen takes, rook takes, bishop takes, all this, white goes knight c3 and then brings the bishop back. White is better here. Point 3. But nobody actually knows what that means. White is better here because white has a little bit more development and is kind of faster to the queen side. Like, white can get more pieces here faster. If black gets like 6 good moves, dare I say 6 or 7 good moves, it's just equal. And Jose kind of does that. Like, he gets the rooks over. Sendarov, make no mistake, putting as much pressure as he can, right? He's trying to trade. It's clear that white has better development, right? Black's position is kind of stupid looking. But black's just moving around. F4 might have not been good. It might have been better to go knight b5. Like, you need time here. Time is of the essence. When you play F4, it allows black immediately to get back into the game with pawn to a5, striking on the queen side. And yeah, Sindarev now is no longer better. He's going to have to rework any semblance of an advantage. Bishop c5. He goes bishop b5 check. Nice idea. Now black has to take. And the point is that you go here and you will just try to maybe finagle an advantage, like put a little bit of something, f6. Now you can take and make a pass pawn. Okay, you can take and make a pass pawn. Yes. All right, we might be getting somewhere. King f2, we're bringing the king. The rook has no entry points. White's position does look pretty good. Rook, okay, he goes rook a1, so he just wants to play an endgame of knights versus knight and bishop. This is a crazy move, but very high level, just offering the bishop, but joining the pawns. I think the most advanced thing that happened in this endgame was like this concept of bishop b7. So bishop b7, you know, Jose saw knight g4 coming, which would have been a fork of the pawns, and it happened. And then Jose was like, oh, you're forking me. Okay, take my pawn. You hungry? See over here? Are you homesick? Are you missing plov? Take on h6. Go ahead. Here's the thing. If you take on h6, ain't no way home for that knight. You take on h6, black is going to go here. White has to go g4. Black is going to go here and here. This knight is stuck. It's never getting out. Now, the computer somehow still thinks that black is under some pressure here, but after spending just a little bit of time, it immediately reconsiders and is like, oh, I'm never getting this knight out. Like, it's just not possible. It's not possible. I might have to lose a pawn or something. So instead of that, Java here goes knight e5, and he doesn't take the pawn. That was a flex right there from the young man from now Mexico. I think originally Peru. Knight e5, king c7, and it's just a draw. Jose Martinez just holds Sindarev effortlessly. I mean, no. This was effortless. This was, you know, maybe he got bloated once or twice, like mildly stressed. Maybe he had to go to the bathroom. Like, yeah, Eric Icey just sat there and made moves. I mean, he was not stressed. Which brings me to my last game of the first game of the quarterfinal. Sam Shanklin versus Andrei Yesipenko. C4 in English, E6. By the way, in the last recap, I said some utter nonsense. My good friend, longtime friend, and esteemed chess coach, Alexander Ostrovsky, sent me a message after the recap, and he was like, you said Andrei Yesipenko is roughly your year. Yeah, Yesipenko was born in like 2001. Or something like that. I don't know why I said that. I guess to me, like 25 plus, I guess he's not even 25. He is. Like, to me, if you're born in the 2000s, that's scary. Like, if your birth year is literally 00 or 01, like, you're not, bro. I just thought we were the same age. Yeah, I mean, it's the internet, right? I could say like anything. Who fact checks anything, you know? On a serious note, that was a pretty egregious mistake. Yeah, Yesipenko is like, 9 years old or whatever. Shanklin's old, like properly in his 30s. I don't know. I think he's like 33. Knight f6, bishop g5, bishop b4. This is an aggressive counterpin. I actually play this with black. Played this quite a bit, e3, and then what I would do is I would play h6, and then I would play c5 if they played bishop h4, but he takes. Sam plays in a very, very solid way. He forks the king and the bishop, but then the knight blocks, and then he plays like this. So he's going to develop his bishop later. He's going to play rook c1, a3, have a very, very stable and comfortable position. Rook c3, it's a very nice position, actually. This pawn is being offered up. You cannot take it. You cannot take it because what will ultimately happen is your rook will likely get trapped. So, black will probably kick out your knight and play knight c6. Or just knight c6. Bishop d3 ultimately played, and this is perhaps the only moment in the game where Sam could have done anything, but even then that's not really true. Like, you can play a move here like queen b4, queen b3 that doesn't really let the bishop move, but black can. I mean, there's all sorts of tactics on the b file. So instead of that, we have castles, which allows black to stabilize. And Sam tries his best. It's actually Yesipenko in this game who feels like his opponent is playing a little bit too solid and starts attacking on the king side, which is cool. Sam just like, I don't know what you're doing, bro. Straight up. I don't know what you think this is. A5, B4. They clash on the queen side. Sam kind of chops it up. He's going to win the pawn back. It's queens and rooks. It's the same amount of pawns. Low-rated people will lose this position. High-rated people will trade literally everything. And although it is still a little sharp, you got to be a little accurate here. The pawn structure is a little bit imbalanced. Ultimately, Yesipenko finds a very clean way to trade some pieces. Sam goes rook b3, and we don't even have to play an endgame because they both understand that with the same amount of pawns and the same amount of material, it will be a draw. And so, my previous thesis stands. Queen's Gambit declined. Queen's Gambit accepted, like, mainline, solid, queenless middle game, and memorizing, like, 47 moves of preparation en route to just, you know, solving the game without even spending any time. Yeah, this was quite a strategy. Like, this was, you know, you can go bold, and if it pays off, you're going to win. Now, Danchenko has to win. He is the only player facing elimination from the quarterfinals, and that would be really brutal because he has had an insane tournament. Like, to stumble now because of a bad first game would be devastating, but, yeah, I'm rooting for him. Not because I don't like Nodirbek Yakuboyev, but because I'm rooting for the underdogs in the tournament. I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for, I don't even know who the hell the underdog is in this matchup. Here, I got to root for my boy Jospim, you know? Although Sundarev is the man, you know, I really don't care who wins this game. And frankly, I don't really care who wins this game either. Like, it would be cool if Sam made it to the semifinals, and I kind of like Yesipenko. He's a nice guy. So, yeah. It's just an interesting, like, situation where any of these people who can make the candidates, make no mistake, have 0% chance of winning them. But, well, except maybe Eric Geissi or Wei Yi. But, I mean, they could make it crazy. They could, you know, they're a wild card. So they're going to beat people, lose to people. Before I let you go from this recap, look up the candidates tournament that Magnus Carlsen won. 2012? I don't remember. 2013. One of them. 2012. I think. The one where he tied for first place with he who shall not be named. Just look at that field. Compare it to, like, nowadays. I mean, that field was just, like, killers. I mean, it was just, like... So, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of excited because this candidates is going to be a total circus. Like, I have no idea who's going to win the next candidates. There are some favorites, but last year people were saying Gukesh was going to get second to last, and he won the candidates. So... Anyway, the most mysterious recap of my career is now finished. It's going to get uploaded really late at night. If you had a chance to watch it, sandwiched in all the other videos, write something in the comments. Let me know how your day's going. Let me know how your year's been, good or bad. It'll be fun. See you all for the second World Cup recap of the quarterfinals, and you know the drill already. Get out of here.